Join me as a welcome all the way from Imo State this morning, Chief Uche Musu. Thank you for finding the time to be here today.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, good morning. All right, today we'll be looking at political developments that cuts across not just your party. You are vying for the governorship seat in Imo State. We want to look at politics in its entirety, narrowing it down to Imo State. It's just barely 20-something days to the general elections. Are you happy with what you're seeing in the political space, especially as it relates to campaigns? We were told that campaigns were going to be issue based, but we're seeing name calling and all of that. Are you satisfied?
Yeah, I think I'm satisfied with the campaign now because one good thing is that the masses and the people now know where they are going to. It's not all about party, all about promises. It's not about individuals and their track record and what they believe the person has done before and what they believe the person can do again. So the issue of our campaign, name calling does not even win elections. So you just have to tell the people what you are going to give to them. And democracy is just all about bringing food on the table of the poor masses and also taking care of the youth, the women and the elderly. So the campaigns so far so good. Most of the political parties have been going around telling the people what they will do for them. So it is going to be issue-based, not name calling. Name calling cannot win election.
But between the two big political parties that we have, the APC and the opposition PDP, we've seen a lot of name calling. And just a few days ago, the former president came out with another letter, written to the president, saying that we are probably witnessing another Abacha era. Are you in tune with that note?
Frankly speaking, I don't want to dabble into any letter written by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo. He's an elder statesman. But one good thing is sure is that as a leader and as an incumbent president, power is not given by an individual. Power is given by God. And President Muhammadu Buhari, who is the president now, what every individual and Nigerians need to is to pray for him. Calling them cannot change the will of God. If God has destined him to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, nobody can stop it. For me, coming from the APC angle, I've already made up my mind that this is the man that I think that can handle the affairs of this country, based on track record, based on what he has achieved before now as a president, now as a president. So letters, yes, but what we need is a president that understands the cry of the people and the rhythm of the country. So for me, it's President Muhammadu Buhari. So letters, I don't know about the letters, but for me, that's where the angle I'm going.
Okay, a lot of our viewers would like to know your political history. Can you reel them out?
Oh yes, I think it would be nice to let most Nigerians, and especially Imolites, although some Imolites know me very well. Yeah, my name is Ugumba Uche Musu. Yes, I finished from Eziamo, Comprehensive Secondary School, Eziamo Bire. And I went to Government Secondary School, Bugil. I lived my 9 years in Meduguri, finishing from Sheikh Usanda Karami Primary School, Meduguri, Government Secondary School, Bugil, back to Comprehensive Secondary School, Eziamo Bire. Yes, I was not born from a very rich family. My dad was a catechist. And the rural catechist. And when you talk about rural catechist, they don't have the money. They depend on the people's gesture. So, but I tell people that I as Ugumba Uche Musu, I was not born to be a chief of staff. I didn't born and I became a chief of staff. I went through the hard time. Like I always tell my friends, that especially the young ones, that I went hawking in the street of Aba. I sold water. I sold coconut. I sold oranges. I sold corn. I sold pear. I knew virtually all the street in Aba because of the condition I found myself, because of the family I came out from. We were almost 7 in a room, including my mom. So it's like once you come back from school, the trays are ready. My mom will say, "Oya, Uche, okay, Oya, you should go. We'll just take it and then off the street. We'll come back for We did it because we had to do it to live as a family. And even when I got admission, it was difficult for me to pay my school fees. And I tell my younger ones that on Fridays I will have to leave my school and I'll go back to my village to do medicine work, carry block, give to the medicine man, the person that lays the block, and then life keep going. By Sunday, I'm back to school. Nobody knows that I've gone to do what we call in our area, Timbom, that's a bricklayer work. But these things, they never stopped me from achieving my goal. I did it because I had to do it. But today, it looks as if I just wake up somewhere and then become governorship candidate. But in life, you must go through a process. And in life, you must drive your destiny to your destination. That's what I did. Because we have to tell our younger generation what life is all about. We don't just have to tell them, yes, Ugumba Uchenwesi was the chief of staff, was commissioner for land, and that ends it. They need to know the hard time you have passed through in life, so that those of them who are truck pusher, those of them who sells water, those of them who sells recharge card, will also give their testimony tomorrow. So we need to encourage them and be their mentor and be their guidance, so that they can go through a pathway that will take them to their limit, where they want to be in life. I started as a director of transport as a student union government director of transport in IMSU, Imo State University. From there, I became the secretary of the students union government, IMSU. From there, I was the secretary of the NANS Imo State chapter. I became the national mobilization officer of NANS. From there, I went in and I became the PA to the owner of the chairman, chief executive of Rochas Group of Companies, and became the PA to SA on interparty to the president, former president Olusegun Obasanjo, the same Rochas Rocha, and also PA to the president of National Red Cross, the same Rochas Rocha. And by 2011, I was made commissioner for land. Then by 2015, I was made chief of staff by our leader, Owole Rochas Rocha. He actually, I can say, God used him to move me from grass to grace, because in life, God must use somebody. So I'm very happy that God used him to move me from grass to grace. And here we're talking about being the governor of Imo State, which I know I will be. Leaving APC was not my intention to leave APC, because this is a party we built, this is a party we brought in from scratch to something in Imo State and Southeast. It was because of injustice. We did the first primary, I won. We did the second primary, I won. But because of some sentimental issues, the national chairman, Adams Oshimole, decided to give it to somebody who just entered APC not less than 2 months, not less than 1 month, and gave the ticket, the person who never participated in the primaries. And the entire APC in Imo State was not happy with that. And we explained and begged, but the man looks as if he has made up his mind to take our mandate and our ticket and give to somebody who does not belong to APC. But in life, you cannot stop somebody's destiny. It's like when you have a car traveling and the car develops a fault, you need to move, you need to get another car, move. Because our target is going to get to our destination, is not to stop halfway because of somebody who tried to kill our ambition. No, nobody can kill that ambition. Because it's all about youth projects. It's all about women and men and the entire Imolites, especially those who saw the need for me to be their governor. So I see it as an injustice done to me. I have to move to AA, Action Alliance, because we also need a platform to get to that our destination. So, but thank God we're doing well in AA. This party is not built by an individual. Party is built by people, and it's only people that can vote, not one person. And the Adams is not from Imo State. On that day, he will be in Edo to vote. So it's all about Imolites.
So don't you think it would have given you more chance if you had stayed in the APC to fight your way through?
As I said earlier on, that election is not won by party. Election is won by individuals and people. I can be in APC, but if the people don't like me, I will not win.
Definitely.
I can be in APC if I'm not their candidate who they want to be the governor of Imo State. I will not win. If I'm in any party, but this is the particular person they have chosen, and this is the particular person they think that can handle the affairs of Imo State, then I win. So the issue of being in a particular party to win does not arise. It's based on individual and track record.
You are also quoted to have said that Hope Uzodinma cannot be the governor of Imo State. What were the parameters you considered before making that order?
Of course, you need to look at track records. You need to look at individuals. You need to look at what they have achieved before. You need to look at the manifesto. You need to look at what you intend to give to Imolites. You cannot, at this time, promise people that you are going to rock 1 kilometer of road when you know it's not possible to put rock on the road. Or you tell people that you're going to put AC in all the streets in Imo State when you know that it's not possible to put AC on the road and trees. So, like you said earlier on, it's an issue-based campaign. I have my track record. I have what I've done as a commissioner for land. I introduced the urban renewal. I developed the new Owerri. I created most of the layout in Imo State. I've empowered more than 1,000 Imo youths. I've empowered more than 1,000 Imo women. I was not intending to run for governor when I did this. I was just a commissioner. So, tell us what you have done. It's not all about coming to the TV or coming to a campaign and start criticizing the governor or anybody, or you bring a big slogan, we have come to recover or we have come to restore. What are you recovering? Is it the money you spend in the campaign you want to recover? What are you going to restore? Are you going to restore the kidnapping? Are you going to restore the 2-lane road that we now have 8-lane road due to my urban renewal I did as a commissioner for land? What are you restoring? The issue is that what do you have for Imolite? They want to hear that. They want to hear, as a senator for 8 years, what have you been able to give to the people of Imo State? As a commissioner for land, what have you been able to do? As a senator, how many people have you empowered? As a commissioner, how many people have you empowered? These are the issue-based campaign we're talking about, not name calling. I'm not quoting, I will be governor, I will have written result. It doesn't arise.
But are you a little bit worried because with the way the politics in Imo State is going, are you worried that your father-in-law might just concede the state to a different party, maybe the AA or the PDP or another party apart from the APC? Are you worried?
Like earlier said, he's in APC, I'm in AA. The AA structure in Imo State is in full support of the President Muhammad Buhari.
Okay.
And what a political party is a vehicle for politicians to get to their destination. What matters at the end of the day is that are Imo people happy? If I become the governor, which I know I will be, I'm not going to be a governor for AA. I'm going to be the governor of Imo State. I'm going to be a governor that will carry both PDP, APGA, APC, ACC, all the parties. Because I will run an inclusive government. No matter where you come from, no matter which political party you come from. Don't be surprised that people from other parties can also be in my government. Because I'm now a governor. I'm not a governor. So the issue of conceding the party, the governorship to a political party does not arise because, of course, we have alliance with APC on the issue of our president and some senatorial aspirant, the House of Rep aspirant in Imo State. So we have an alliance. AA winning is almost like APC, the same alliance. So it doesn't arise.
So let's say, for instance, you win the governorship poll. Are you likely to defect back to the APC?
How would you win the election immediately and defect to another political party? I won the election in AA, and we have alliance with APC. Whether in AA, whether in APC, we are one.
You think, but the incumbent governor, talking about Rochas Okorocha, did the same, and heaven did not fall.
I don't understand.
Could you throw the same path? Maybe leaving APGA, moving to the APC, leaving PDP. He was once in the PDP, moved to APGA, won the election, moved to APC.
Rochas is Rochas.
Yeah.
I'm Ugumba Uchewosu. His own style of politics or his own style of governance might not be my own style.
Sure.
So that I run into AA and became governor under AA does not mean that I will do the same thing Owole Rochas Okorocha, His Excellency did.
Okay.
So my name is Uche Wosu and his name is Owole Rochas Okorocha.
Correct. Okay, we have another caller. I think we have a lot of Imolites in Kaduna. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what's the name of where you're calling us from, please?
Like I earlier said, I'm a youth. I've gone through the poverty stage in my life. I know the pains as a youth, as a graduate, to stay home 5 years, 2 years without job. I know the pains in carrying tray with granite on the streets. I know the pains of what mothers go through by squeezing out their last card to pay school fees or to train a child. This is why when I became the commissioner of lands, I made sure that I empower as many youth as I can, more than 1,000 youths. If I can do that as a commissioner, of course, as a governor, I know that my government will not forget the youth, the younger generation. Of course, we're bringing them, most of them, back to farm. I'm a farmer. I have a poultry. Over 8,000 birds that lays egg every day. I make money from there. I have fish there that I make money from this fish. We're bringing back the youth back to farm because most these days they think that farming is meant for old people, but it's not true. I'm a young man. As a chief of staff, I have my farm and I'm proud of it. I once told my younger brother that I'm going to open a farm for you. He said, no, uncle. So me, the graduate, will go and start cleaning the feces of birds. You see his mentality. Secondly, we're going to provide an alternative job. White collar job cannot be the last option. Yes, you're a lawyer, but you cannot find a job, white collar job. Don't you think that a female lawyer can open a fashion shop? Don't you think that a female lawyer can also open a barbering salon? Don't you think that an engineer can open a barbering salon? Don't you think an engineer can do welding? Don't you think that an engineer can do some other things, can be a farmer? Because when you wait for government or for a bank to give you a job and the job is not coming, my brother, move somewhere. In life, you must have address B and address A. If address A does not work, go for address B. So one thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to conscientize the youth. Let them believe that on their own they can make it. I don't want to employ them and that's the end. I want them to be employers of labor. If, for example, you're a lawyer and I'm able to empower you to start something else, maybe like farming, or start something like barbering salon, I want you to employ 3 or 4 people that will be doing that for you while you supervise. Sometimes you can do that yourself. If you have 1,000 youth engaged welding at this, and they have 3, you're talking about 3,000 youths taken out of the street by this 1,000 you have employed. This is why I say that track record matters in this issue of campaign and becoming a House of Assembly, Federal House, Senator, Governor, and President. The Ministry of Land is very open. You can check my track record. All the promises, all the things I said immediately I assumed the office as a Commissioner for Land, I completed all. This is why I'm writing what we call social contract with the communities. Community A, what do you want? We need water. We need water. We need school. We need road. We need electricity. I was okay. For now, please, can we go reduce it to 3? Water, road, and electricity. The traditional ruler will sign. The President General will sign. I will sign under. They will take their copy. I will take my copy, and that's it. Allow me, if I don't do that, then when I come next time for campaign, don't even allow me to enter your community. This is the government I want to run. Government that whatever you promise, you must fulfill it. I don't want to run government of promises because I'm a young man and my name is at stake.
Now, what is wrong in Imo State that you are coming to correct?
Government is a continuous process. Because Owele Rochas Okorocha, in the few weeks or few months, will exist as a governor. Yes, we have free education, courtesy of Owele Rochas Okorocha. Many indigenous women now and many youths can afford to go to school without paying school fees. But me, what can I offer in the area of education? Yes, I'm coming to consolidate on the free education and also to provide the computers in our schools. I'm going to put internet in our school. Mentorship, very key in the schools. Most days you have cultism in our secondary schools. I'm bringing back the mission schools to help us in guidance and counsel in the secondary schools and primary schools. We have to build more schools because Imo State remains one of the states that when you talk about education, you must mention it because we have, if you go to JAM, we have the highest number of JAM bites. If 4 million Nigerians write JAMB today, Imo will take 2 million because it's a seat of education. The schools in Owerri, of course, definitely. This is the state capital. I'm going to make sure that at least once a visitor comes to Imo State, the first point of call is Owerri. I don't want a visitor to come and see a shattered school. The governor, Owole Rochas Okorocha, has done very, very, very well in the area of renovation and building of schools in the capital city of Imo State. So I'm consolidating on that. Remember earlier on I told you that I'm going to make sure that we equip our secondary schools with computer. Because most days, you see some of our graduates from the university, they can't even tell you the nitty-gritty in computers. We have to start from the basics and grow them. Once you enter university, say you are doing computer science, you are done. So on that area of schools, I'm going to do my best, equip them, they bringing back morale into our secondary schools. Cultism most days are from secondary schools. Most of our secondary school children, they don't even know how I became chief of staff. Mentorship will come back. Like I said, we're going to bring in the missionaries, guidance and counseling. Yes, I'm Uche Musa, I'm running for governor today, but look at the process I went through. Some of them don't know about that. Look at, if I was a court person in the university or secondary school, I wouldn't have been where I am today. That would say, oh, so you were not a court man. So if I become a court man, I cannot be a chief of staff. Mentorship and guidance and counseling. So we're bringing this, especially the schools in the city. This is my intention, and we will achieve it by the special grace of God.
Okay, let's look at the areas of security in Imo State. We've had issues of kidnapping and all of that, and violent clashes of cult groups and the likes in that particular part of this country. What exactly are you going to put in place to ensure that you cop or nip this very, very dastardly act, nip it in the bud finally? On
the issue of security, I will give it to Owole Rochas Okorocha, His Excellency. When we came in 2011, there was this issue of by 7 o'clock, people have gone back to their houses because of kidnapping. In fact, there is no day that passes without one kidnapping. There is no week that you cannot hear 3, 4, 5, 6 kidnapping. Yes, I said that Owole Rochas Okorocha did well, and by 2011 it was like everybody.
Dead zone.
Yes, but from 2011 to 2018 to 19, you can see that the issue of security has been taken care of in Imo State. In fact, I was surprised during last Christmas that I didn't hear anything about kidnapping in Imo State. You hardly hear about bank robbery in the state capital these days.
Which
even
was
outside,
which was the norm before.
Which was a norm before. You remember when they came, killed a policeman, 2 policemen along Wedra Road, the other one, the UPA, the one that is in Bari. But you hardly hear bank robbery now in Imo State. So he has done well in the issue of security, but I am not coming just to consolidate. We're also coming to make sure that we sustain it and improve on it. Rural policing matters. Like what we have, Imo Community Watch, ICW. In every village, we have 10 of the younger people who are the security of that village. Because it takes a man from my village, Eziamobile, to know the thief in that village. A policeman from Sokoto does not know a thief in that village. They can decide to cover the thief, but a young man from there knows who that thief is. If they steal cassava, you say, I know who steal this cassava. Right. When I now assume office as a governor, I'm going to make out a budget for youth and women empowerment. And in fact, it has to be one of my priorities. I want to keep the youth out of the streets and out of job. Because once they're out of the streets and job, the issue of social media abusing and this will reduce. Because if you're a man, you are busy in your barbing salon, or you are busy with your welding, or you are busy with your shop or farming, you don't have time. 1 hour, 3 hours, 5 hours on the social media and keep sending and keep abusing each other. So I want to make sure that the youths of Imo State have more work to do, and less work on social media, and less work on accusation and streets robbery and some other things that is social vices. This is my intention.
Now, what are your plans in order to improve the economy of Imo State?
Yes, we have to look at Imo today and look at where we're taking Imo tomorrow. On the issue of agriculture, like I earlier said, I'm coming in to carry every local government according to comparative advantage. If local government B is good in cassava, I will empower them to produce more cassava.
Is that a subtle restructure?
Yes, if C is good in cashew nut, I will empower them to produce more cashew nut. If D is good in rice production, I will empower them. I'm bringing back our youth back to farm. We're going to provide farm implements to our rural women, because I believe that food is the most important thing in any nation. Once we get it right, and we have Imo produce some certain produce, agricultural produce, and that becomes the hub of those agricultural produce in Nigeria. We are not happy that maybe we only produce yam and we only produce palm oil. Rice, this comes from outside. We can also do that and become rice producers in the states. We can produce onions, we can produce beans, but we must plan for it. On the issue of health, yes, like my campaign slogan has said that I have come to work. I'm coming to make sure that children from 0 to 7 years old will have free medical treatment. The antenatal will be free, of course, which will do that. Our older people from 75 and above will have free medical treatment. We're taking health to the doorstep of every Imolite. The health centers will be renovated. I would not be happy to see our elders and some of our people travel to London and other places to go and treat themselves. We shall have one referral hospital in Imo State.
All right, just a minute. You hold your thought. We have Robert all the way from Lagos State. Hello, Robert. Hello, Robert.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Please go ahead with your contribution quickly.
Good morning.
Yeah, please go ahead.
My name is Robert. I'm calling from Lagos.
Yes, go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I want to talk to the candidate,
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Uche Nwosu.
Thank you.
It's unfortunately I'm not from Imo State. I would have voted for him. Irrespective of anybody that is coming out as a governor, whether it's a son-in-law to a road agriculture, it doesn't mean anything. He's a young man and he has his own destiny. So we should encourage young people. Nigeria should encourage young people. All these elders that are still in power now, they were in power when they were young. Why can't they allow the young people to come up to opportunities that was to be presented to them when they were young? Uche Nwosu should be a governor. He has the right, he's qualified. The main thing should be, is he qualified, not a son-in-law. Before he became what he is now, I think he was a bachelor before he got married to Rocha Chokorocha's daughter also. His destiny should not be cut off. So I support him and I pray that God will help him in Jesus' name.
Thank you, Robert, for stopping by.
That's my permission.
Thank you very much, Robert, for stopping by. A lot of support coming your way. We hope that transcends to the votes that you're going to get
Exactly.
at the end of the day, because some
With
people,
your PVC.
yeah, with their PVCs, some people will get all of the clicks on social media, but at the end of the day, we hope it all transcends to. Yeah, we're talking about how you will improve the economy of Imo State. You're reeling out your plan, so can you
Yes,
please
and
continue?
I just mentioned on the issue of health.
Health, yeah.
That I said I'm going to provide at least one referral hospital in Imo State. You know, when I was young, there is these health inspectors. In my language, they call it Mwolala. Their duty is to go from rural area, one house to another, making sure that those houses are clean, making sure that the health of those communities are in order. I'm bringing back the rural health inspectors back.
That's another way of creating jobs.
That's another way of creating jobs. That's another way of making our people know that health is life. On industry, like somebody called and said, talked about hotel, but they need more industries.
I pray they will allow you to talk today. We have Andrew from Kaduna State. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Hello?
Yeah, you're calling back again. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, I'm calling back again.
Yeah.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah. Hello, good morning.
Morning, we're with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I still want to talk to our governor today, Mr. Uche Nwosu. Morning.
Morning.
I want to find out from him what plans I see for the non-indigenous, those that are in Imo State, residing in Imo. what plans I see for them when he became the governor, when he became the governor of Imo State. What plans I see for the non-indigenous.
Okay, thank you, Andrew, for that very beautiful question. You want to answer this, or you want to finish the economy?
Yeah, let me just answer Andrew.
Okay.
Yes, Andrew. Becoming a governor, every indigene, whether you are Yoruba or you are Hausa, you reside in Imo, you're automatically an indigene of Imo State. Of course, there is Faisal Lawal. He's from Kaduna.
Yeah.
Faisal Lawal was one of us when we were in Rocha's group. He was one of us when the governor contested for president. Today, Faisal Lawal is the vice chairman of Owerri Municipal. He's from Kaduna State. The first time a non-indigene is becoming outside, non-indigene, the outside Imo is becoming, and the Hausa man in that matter is becoming the vice chairman of Owerri Municipal Council. This to tell you that my own government will be a government that includes everybody, no matter where you come from, but you reside in Imo State. This is the kind of government I want to run.
I'm sure Andrew is satisfied with your submission this morning. Now back to health, where you intend to tackle health issues and having a referral hospital in Imo State. You want to take up from there?
Yes, I talked about the health inspector that I need to bring back immediately. And also, somebody called and talked about a hotel in Imo State, but we need to go out of having more industries. Today we have good roads, 8 lanes road. We have an industrial layout, 3 or 4. My intention is to have an industrial cluster, no matter how small it is, in every geopolitical zone, the 3 zones. I talked about cashew nut. I talked about some local government producing cashew nut, probably from Okigwe angle. You see a lot of cashew nut, but we need an industrial cluster where these products will have the end produce from these agricultural produce. I talked about palm. We can have that in Oluzo, where you have Ohaje Boma that produces a lot of palm. We can have them. Instead of producing them, and at the end of the day, it's wasted because there is no machines to produce them and make them to bring them to the end produce, which we will sell to the market.
All right, you have to hold your thought one more time. We have Anthony Anyao from Lagos State. Hello, Anthony.
Hello?
Yeah, good morning, Anthony.
Hello?
Good morning, we can hear you.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, you have Uche Nwosu, so go ahead with your
Yeah,
question.
it's good that a young man will rule. Let's have and the innovation ideas. But one thing there is this. When we started schooling, I was in a school by that time, Federal Polytechnic in Lekede.
Wow.
The governor promised to do the road because the road was bad. Because there's a primary electoral health and he didn't win. And that's why he abandoned the road. What to him, as a young man, forget what happened or go according to his in-law, father-in-law, rules and regulations. I'll do what that a young man with a young innovation in the state. Federal Polytechnic in Lekede leading to people. I schooled there, and that way was interested. We complained to the governor and say is up to now, they are part of the ways is that once you do services, if you cannot do, people will go for you as a young man who want to bring young and new ideas into the state. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anthony, for stopping by.
Look, on this shore of the road has already been done.
Okay.
I don't know the last time he went to Owerri.
Okay.
From that place going towards the Federal Polytechnic, the road is clean.
Has been tarred.
Yes, it has been tarred.
Okay.
So, in fact, the first day they came, the Federal Polytechnic students came demonstrating. And being a former student leader, I called them and told them that I will make sure that the governor. Then I was the chief of staff. I said I will make sure that the governor takes a look at it. And the road has been tarred, so I think he can call people from that
to
area.
confirm.
They will tell him that the road
Okay,
has been
Anthony,
asphalted.
your fears have been addressed by Governor Rochas Okorocha, as confirmed by his chief of staff. All right, so still on the economy, you are trying to reel out, some of the steps they are going to take. I am particular about the economy because if the economy is robust, most of your plans in engaging the youths and ensuring that there is adequate medical health care for the citizens of Imo, will come to fruition in the shortest possible time. But if the economy is not robust, we'll only be seeing Uche Nwosu as a governor coming into Abuja to beg for bailout funds and all of that. So I really want you to hammer on the economy, because
Yes.
that is where your strength is really going to lie.
Yes, I made mention of industries.
Yeah.
Remember that most of this farm produce must go through a process. I made mention of Oluzon having a cluster that will take care of the palms and sometimes maybe cashew or cassava. I've made mention of Owerri zone. Some areas there are good in rice production, some are good in cassava and palm. We must have an industrial cluster there. We already have an existing industrial layout, the Onitsha Road industrial layout. The major problem there is power. And thank God that in Ohajebema we have a power plant that is almost 80% completion, started by federal government. We will partner with the federal government to complete it. That power plant can give light to the entire southeast and even some part of south-south. We need that power plant to start functioning. Like that, most companies, especially those who in Nnewi and Onitsha, will move down to Owerri. This is my target. I want to make sure that the youths are engaged in some of these small industries that we're going to create. Because the importance of having industries, like when you go to Ogun State now, you have a lot of them. And youths are engaged, they are working. It will be my happiness that not only empowering them to go and start, some of them who think that I cannot do well in a barbering salon, I cannot do well in this, I cannot do well in starting up a business or farming. They want to go to work to some small industries.
Please, you have to hold your thought one more time. Ayo from Lagos. Hello, Ayo. Hello, Ayo.
Hello, Ayo.
Yeah, good morning, Ayo. Please go ahead with your contribution. We have Uche Nwosu in the studio with us today.
Yeah. And that's the thing to be talking to you.
Hello, Ayo. Hello.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, please turn down the volume of your TV set completely so that we can have a seamless conversation.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, have you done that, please?
Yes,
All
yes.
right, thank you. Now you can go ahead with your contribution.
So I'm happy to be online with you.
Okay.
Mr. Governor to you. We appreciate you and we are looking forward to your success in the next coming election. Please, one thing I would like to know is, actually, we are one thing from the whole dispensation to the new one. But we can tell like two people in Lagos, what is happening in Lagos? I see that we have all the law required to carry the battle of. But, you know, the way we see things here now is like, this Godfather is like somebody will be there and start imposing candidates or not without the wish of the people. I would like to know that when you become the governor, it will not be like you will take orders that you will not work with your partners. People will not be able to work on your behalf. But if you don't know the situation in Nigeria now, that there is somebody somewhere and start to that will be imposing governors and everything on us. So please, I'd like to translate and let us know what you are still on this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ayo, for stopping by all the way from Lagos State. Ayo is worried. We're still going to come back to the economic matter and then we take it up from there. But Ayo is worried that in as much as you have a subtle relationship with the incumbent governor, what happens? He's also worried about godfatherism in politics. Are you not going to be, swayed?
You know, when I hear issue of godfatherism, except the governor himself does not have an idea of what to do for his people. Like I earlier said, my name is Uche Nwosu. His Excellency is Owole Rocha Zukrocha. Once he leaves office as a governor, he cannot dictate to me what I should do as a governor. We can only seek for an advice. Of course, being a former governor, he has passed through that road. The same way like as people like Achiku Denwa, the same way like Ike Hakim, the same way like some former governors from the states. I can only go to them for advice. Your Excellency, you pass through this road. Look at this. What is your advice?
But some ex-governors have their ways in muzzling incumbent governors to toe in their own path. We saw what happened in Kano State. A deputy governor took over, and today they are 2 ways apart. We saw what happened in Lagos State. An incumbent governor trying to seek for re-election and was ousted out by the powers that be. You know, we can go on and on in some parts of the country. We saw what happened during Inyako and Balajem Singlari and then the Speaker of the State House of Assembly. You know, we saw all of this. And if something is not done, we are likely to see a repeat of all of this drama in 2023. Are you saying that when you become governor, you are not going to fall out with your father-in-law? Are you saying that when he comes trying to muzzle you through your decisions, are you going to stand on your feet and say no? And if that is done, you know the consequences. I
want to be the first to set an example, to tell people that you can work as a governor and do your work as a governor without quarreling with the person that you took over from. The issue remains on your how you want to run your government. Your style matters. You are quarreling with the man you took over. It's your style. But I don't want to say much, but I'm going to surprise people. By the time I take over as the governor of Imo State, all these their fears about Ugumba, Uchewosu, Owele Totam, you know, this and that, those fears should stay aside. By the time I take over, they will know that I'm a man. Owele Rocha Sukrocha, by then will be a former governor, would need his advice as a man that has passed through that road. We need the advice of people like Ike or Hakim, people like Achikudewa, as people that have passed through that process. So I'm going to be in charge of my government while carrying those leaders along. The issue is not carrying them along, not remembering that they exist. That you are a governor does not mean that you cannot recognize the former governors or even former ministers or even former commissioners from that state.
Carrying them along to some people might also mean, you know, each time they come knocking at your door seeking for financial, you know, inducement, you are going to open widely the gates to the state treasury and allow them to do away with some funds. What's your take on that?
The issue of opening the state treasury and allow them to get money done, that is not right. Carrying them along,
but that's where the problem
carrying
is.
Them along. No, of course, as a former governor, they're entitled to at least a brand new car every 4 years. They're entitled to medical treatment, of course, which I will do. Serving your state for 4 years or 8 years, at least you need to carry them along. But that does not mean that I will dip hand into the state treasury and take money and say, take this money and go and do jamboree. No, there are some certain things you know is the entitlement that you need to do, and there are decisions you need to take that you need to consult them too. So I said it earlier on that I'm going to run an inclusive government. No matter where you are, where you're coming from, you must be part of this government.
Now back to the economy. You're talking about industrializing Imo State.
Yes. Yeah. I stopped that issue of bringing back the youth and engaging them in industry. We are going to make sure that doing business in Imo State is not too difficult for people coming in to invest, ease of doing business. I have seen that when I was commissioner for land, when I took over, I now saw that CFO takes like almost a year for somebody to get his CFO. And some people comes in, they need a land, they need a CFO, at least to tell their partner that they have the CFO. But you see them, 1 month, 2 months, the CFO is not coming. They go back to Lagos. But one thing I did is that under 6, even under 4, 5 months, you have your CFO. And once you have your CFO, we now say we are giving you 6 months accelerated development. Under 6 months, if we don't see block there, we take back the land and give to people who are serious. So we're going to make business easy for people to invest in Imo State, ease of doing business. Even registrations in Ministry of Commerce will be very easy because, like you said, I don't want to depend on federal allocation. I want to increase the revenue of the state, the IGR of the state.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get to that point because that's my next question. We have Fidelis from Lagos. Hello, Fidelis. Okay, I think we lost him. Fidelis there. He was actually calling from Lagos. Now back to Imo State. We've seen a lot of governors in this dispensation, and probably in a few dispensations before now, all they do is jostle and come to the city, to the capital city, into the presidency, seeking for money, bail out, bail in, bail off, and all that. Okay, I think Fidelis is back on the line. Hello, Fidelis. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Fidelis. Thank you for stopping.
Good morning.
Yeah, we have Uche Nwosu in the studio with us. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to ask about what is happening in Imo State. There is a general perception that the governor of Imo State is acquiring lands from people, lands that do not belong to him, and he wants to perpetuate himself and his family in government. His son-in-law wants to be the next governor. I think the wife wants to come to the House of Reps. He wants to go to the Senate. And probably the daughter may want to go to the State House of Assembly. These are issues that concern Imo life. Because I come home most of the time and I see things happening. I see an Imo State where a young boy was killed in a market that was taken over by a particular family in Imo State. And I think you should address some of these things. If you become the next governor of Imo State, are people going to be safe? What is the guarantee that lands will not be taken from people, that Imo will not be a personal estate of the Okorocha and maybe an extension of Nwosu? We need some of this clarification from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Fidelis, for stopping by.
Let me correct Fidelis. Okorocha has not acquired anybody's land. In fact, let me also let the general public and Fidelis know that being a governor for almost 7 years now has not acquired anybody's land for his personal use. Where he has school today, of course, he runs a free education with Rogers Foundation. Those kids are not his kids. When you talk about the issue of acquiring people's land, I'm not sure he has the details about land acquisition in Imo State. On the issue of a child that was killed at Ekonwa, he said the property, just to acquire the property at Ekonwa to personal. That place is not Okorocha's family's property. That is Ekonwa, that is the state government property. Okay. It's not Governor Okorocha's property. So I want to correct him that is a state property. If he's from Imo State, he can go there and find out whether that property there, the market they are building there, is Okorocha's property.
Okay, hold on your thought one more time. We have Madaki from Katsina. Hello, Madaki. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Madaki. Good morning. Thanks for joining us all the way from Katsina State.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for joining us all the way from Katsina State.
Hello.
Contribution.
Hello.
Madaki, go ahead with your contribution if you can hear us. Okay, Madaki, just try and call us back all the way from Katsina, but ensure that you turn down the volume of your TV set completely before you get through to the studio. So, yeah, go ahead.
We are talking about what Philip said, and people need to get the right information. Mm-hmm. You don't believe on hearsay or what you read on internet. When you go to Imo State today, you know that Imo State has actually developed. You can know two ways about it. Mm-hmm. People that came back for Christmas from overseas, they saw it and they know that all there are lies on the internet. Mm-hmm. I'm not that kind of person that will want an Imolite to suffer, or will go and grab something that belongs to an Imolite and take it to myself. No, which the governor has not done. So I want to show him that his fears are something he reads from internet and social media. It is not facts on ground. It's not fact. Like I will tell some journalists, for you to be a journalist, you must go to the field and see for yourself. You don't stay in Lagos and you write and then publish. When they tell you that so Governor B has done this, please, why don't you take a trip to that place and see to yourself then before you write. You don't just write and send to newspapers or social media on what they told you. And immediately you do it. No, that is not governance. That is not journalism. So I want to assure him that no need to entertain such kind of fear. Ugomba Uchenwosu will be a governor that he can be proud at the end of the day that say, oh, thank God we elected him.
Okay, okay, we have Gideon from Jos. Hello, Gideon. Hello, Gideon. Hello, Gideon. Hello. Yeah, Gideon, good morning. Please turn down the volume of your TV set completely if you can hear us. Okay, I think we lost Gideon there. Now, I want us to talk about infrastructural development in Imo State. You've rightly said that the governor has greatly improved, the state as far as infrastructures, are concerned. What else are you going to do differently as far as infrastructure is concerned in Imo State?
Yes, I earlier gave Owele Rocha kudos for, at least when you talk about infrastructure in Imo State, he has done wonderfully well. But here is Uchenwosu, governor of Imo State. What do I need to add? Roads, 8-lane roads. I want an Imo State that will be one city state. I want people living in Olo. I don't want them to come and live in Owerri. I want to have a city that from Owerri to Olo, you have to see buildings, lights, water, so that people at that end will be very happy. I want to construct more roads. I want to have a street light from Owerri to Olo, from Owerri to Okiwe, from Owerri to Mbise. I want to dualize more roads. I want to make sure that the rural people, it is easier for them to bring their farm produce to Owerri to sell. We're going to build more schools. By the grace of God, I'm going to relocate the stadium in Owerri outside that capital city. Because whenever you have a program, you see that the city will be too congested. We are moving it to a better place where you have enough space for vehicles to park, where even when you have a program, it will be easier for people to pass. Like I said earlier on, I'm going to have one referral hospital. On infrastructural development, we're going to do a lot. Because I believe that most cities in the world, like Japan, when you go to Japan, you look at Japan, you are happy, you start clapping your hands, so wow, a beautiful city. When you have buildings, or when you have structures that are old, especially government structures, you now design them in a way that somebody that enters that city will see those structures and you're happy you are entering that city. Sometimes in a city, what defaces the face of a city is this infrastructures and buildings you see in that city. First of all, you have to plan the city. I'm a town planner. That's why when I told you that the issue of the urban renewal was out of my design as a commissioner for land. Yes, Owerri has developed, but we're also going to come back and move Owerri out from the city towards going to Port Harcourt and towards going to Abaro and towards going to Bitolu. Because you cannot have a congested city without diversing it and moving it to other places. And those areas need to develop. Those infrastructures need to also move to those areas. So on the issue of infrastructure, I promise Imolai that we are going to do more.
Okay, we have a call on the line. Hello? Hello? Hello, Chinedu.
Hello?
Yeah, Chinedu, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Payo, good morning.
Thank you, Chinedu, for stopping by today. Go ahead, we have Uchenwosu in the studio with us. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, Mr. Uchenwosu, good morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning.
I'm happy to see you, in the studio room at the things you have for Imo people if you are elected as the next governor of the state.
Thank you.
But the area I want to ask some questions is the area of, the state of the state in terms of court activities and Yahoo, that is all this Yahoo and all that, so crime. So I want to ask, do you have any plan apart from tackling criminality? What about this, because the state is believed to be, where most of all these Yahoo court people, that is where that most of them, they are based, so your plan to curb, to return the image of
Imo State beyond sportism and Yahoo activities.
All right, thank you very much, Chinedu, for that question. So you want to react to
Yes,
that?
the issue of cultism. Remember earlier on, Chinedu, I made mention of mentorship and guidance and counseling in our secondary school. All this starts from secondary school. Once a child joins cult from secondary school and grow up with that idea of cultism, it will be difficult for you to stop him in the university. So we have to start from the beginning. Like I said earlier on, yes, most people and most students from the secondary school hear about Uche Nwosu and they say, hey, I want to be like Uche Nwosu. You want to be like Uche Nwosu, but have they been able to find out how Uche Nwosu came to become a chief of staff and commissioner for land? Are they aware that Uche Nwosu was once on the street hawking oranges and ice water? Are they aware that Uche Nwosu once in the rural area was carrying blocks and helping people to building houses? These are the stories they want to hear. They don't just want to hear that I have a brand new car, I have a Jeep, I have a Lexus Jeep. That's not the story you have to tell them.
Okay, please, we'll come back to this question by Chinedu. We have Madaki from Katsina State. Hello, Madaki. Hello, Madaki. Hello. Hello, Madaki.
Hello.
Yeah, please, we can hear you. Just turn down the volume of your TV set and then.
Okay. You go with me.
Yes, we are with you.
Now, I want to ask Uche Nwosu a question.
Okay. Turn down the volume of your TV set completely, Madaki.
I want to ask Uche Nwosu.
Please turn down the
A
volume
small
of your
question.
TV. Turn down the volume of your
Please,
TV.
Mr. Uche Nwosu, I want to ask you a little question.
Madam, yes.
I'm sorry to say this.
Yes.
If Imo State belong to you and you are Governor Roger Okocha anymore, why you put allow other people to penetrate inside the government house in Imo State? In a situation whereby I looked at Rogers made in-law Minister of Commissioner for Enjoyment, Commissioner for what? It's like, let me put it in this way. In a situation whereby there's I can say Prince of Israel zone and in Imo State. Why people now allow like somebody like Hope over the man? How to penetrate government house? Let me see another thing. Now you are in go come down, you want to climb up. Like as someone said here, you want to go to Senate, maybe you want to go for House of Reps. You governor, a daughter will be a House of Assembly. Look at it. We all are one. Please, people should have people's chance to participate in a government house in Owerri. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. But before you respond to that, I also want you to know that everybody is entitled to his or her own opinion. But you cannot, because of one person, ask this other person to stay off his political ambition. So Uche Nwosu is also a citizen of Imo State, and in a larger picture, a citizen of Nigeria who is also entitled, to carry out his political ambition, devoid of either his brother-in-law, father-in-law, any in-law that you can, make mention of. So you can.
Let me correct one thing, Madam Uche. Owele's wife is not running for any election. The daughter is not running for any election. The son is not running for any election. I'm Uche Nwosu. I'm from Nkwere local government. Owele Rochas Okorocha is from Idato South. By virtue of getting married to Owele Rochas Okorocha's daughter does not stop me from vying for what I want to buy in life. If you are have a knowledge of what is happening from the people we borrowed democracy from, the United States of America, that George Bush finished as a president and the son took over as a president, did that stop America from developing? And one of the son was the governor. Has that stopped them from being a country? What we should talk about is who is that person that will provide food of the temple of diplomacy. It's not the issue of allow this person to run, because government is not a cake that you share. Government is actually the factory that produces the cake. So what we need is that person that can produce that cake for every Imolite to have a taste of the cake. Because when you talk about the issue, allow this person to go, allow this person, it's not something you share. It's not you can't. When you share government, you don't have government again. But government actually is that machine that produces that cake that you now share. But what matters, my brother Madachi, is that you must have a governor that will not talk of where he come from, or will not talk of which family he come from, but will provide food on the table of the poor masses in Imo State. And that I'm ready to do, not minding where I come from. The issue of in-law does not arise at all. The issue is who is that person that will take Imo State to the next level.
All right, now back to our question. I actually wanted to ask you this: that why do you think you are the best candidate?
Yes, I'm the best candidate because I've taken a look at the other candidates. One, I've looked at their track record before now, and I've also seen what I've achieved before now. One, I'm a youth. One, I have secondly, I have a future. If I don't do well now, by the time I finish, thousands and hundreds of thousands of you that are in my support will be disappointed, and I don't want to disappoint them. This is where I keep talking about role model. If I'm their role model and that their role model disappoint them, in fact they are disappointed in life. Secondly, when you look at track record, of course I can point out 1, 2, 3 things I have done as an individual. In fact, as the director of transport, Students Union Government in Imo State University, as the secretary of Students Union Government in Imo State University, as the NANS secretary in Imo State.
Okay, you might have to hold it there. We have Solomon from Lagos State. Hello, Solomon. Hello. Hello, Ayamo.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. It's afternoon now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please go ahead with your contribution. We have Uche Nwosu in the studio.
Yeah. I want to ask Uche Nwosu a question.
Go ahead.
I've been following you both days when I called you and what they say. Everybody, whether your father step down and want to take off, everybody has his own plan of life. Then my question is this: whether it is true or real, here is important. What about industry? Industry will make you get work, and those courses in Yahoo will go. What is your plan about industry coming to Imo State? To make Imo State to be industrialized. That is my question.
All right, thank you, Ayamo. He has answered that earlier on, but for the essence of emphasis and all that, maybe you want to touch on it. You intend to industrialize Imo State.
Yes, Ayamo, I've said it earlier on that one major factor in the area of industry is power. And like I said earlier on, that we have a power plant in Ohajegwema that is up to 80% completion, and this will give light to the entire southeast. Once I take over, I'm going to make sure that I pursue it to make sure that these power plants start working. Once these power plants start working, I'm not only going to stop on that, I'm going to go to Lagos. I'm going to meet our brothers in Abuja, most other part of the country, even outside the country. They have to see the need for them to come back and invest. You see, when you go to Nnewi today, virtually every Anambra man in Lagos that has a factory in Lagos, they have one in Nnewi. I just want to create that kind of environment in Imo State, where those who have some factories, even if it is pure water industry, you have one in Lagos. Why don't you have one in Imo State? You have something that you have an industry that produces aluminium roof. Why don't you have it in Imo State? Like we have some of them now that have come back home. So I'm going to make sure that all of them, if you have one or two outside, come and put one small one in Imo State. At least that will create job for our teaming youth. But the most important thing is power. But if it's an issue of security, we are going to provide enough security for them to operate, and also provide access road for them to operate. Once the road, the security, and the power is there, everything industry will go very well.
You also talked about what you're going to do about cultism and Yahoo.
Oh, on the issue of cultism, I was just explaining it before I was cautioned.
Yeah.
Issue of mentorship and guidance and counseling in our secondary school matters. That's why I want to follow it from secondary school. Because all this starts from secondary school. When you see a young boy in the secondary school, see a man with a Lexus Jeep, oh my God, I want to grow and ride Lexus Jeep. Do you know what that man went through? Do you know whether he's an armed robber or a criminal? Do you know whether he was a bricklayer? Do you know what he has gone through? We have to educate them, to tell them that For you to get this vehicle, you must be humble. You must not join court. And once they understand that, once I join court, I can be killed. I can from court be an armed robber and I can be killed. But once you are not there, you can walk your way up. Because when you talk about Yahoo, you talk about cultism, they all came from a particular stage. And you start growing until you grow to that extent that it becomes a robbery or it becomes Yahoo. So even the Yahoo boys too, you also have to tell them the consequences in doing what they are doing. It's all about mentoring, it's all about lecturing, it's all about guiding them. Once you guide them, they understand the nitty-gritties and the problems in doing what they are doing. If they are 500, if they are 100, at least 80 will say, oh, so all this that I've been doing, I've committed crime, I'm a sinner, I need to move out of this, I need to start a new life. That's why I'm bringing the missions back to our secondary school to mentor them.
Okay, we have a caller from Adamawa State. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, go ahead with your contribution quickly.
Hello.
Yeah, deliver, we can hear you.
Hello.
Turn down the volume of your TV set. Turn down the volume of your TV set.
I want to thank you for the program. I want to thank you people for the program.
Deliver, please turn down the volume of your TV set.
This
Please.
opportunity.
Please turn down the volume of your TV set.
One of the problems I have with the Igbo people. One of the problems I have with people.
Deliver, go ahead. Okay, I think we lost him there. Please deliver, when you call back, you try to turn down the volume of your TV set completely so that we'll have a seamless conversation. Now let's move. You were also telling us why you are the best candidate. So you want to continue from where you start?
You know, on the issue of looking at other candidates and looking at me as a younger man who is aspiring to be governor of Imo State, the track record matters. You were once a senator for 8 years. You were once a governor for 4 years. You were once a Federal House of Rep member for 12 years. What have you achieved all this while? Of course, you know you have a constituency project, an allowance for constituency project. What have you done with those allowances? These are what we should ask each one of us. As a commissioner for land, what have you done? We need to see what innovation you brought in the Ministry of Land. Yes, I know that the new CFO in the Ministry of Land, I introduced it. I know that the urban renewal, I introduced it. I know that most of the layouts that were open, I introduced it. I know that most of the things that happens in the Ministry of Land, especially the design and the reg, I did it. I know that even with the little office I occupied as a commissioner for land, like earlier on said, empowering the youth. I remember that the rural women and the youth who does not have job will have something doing, more than 1,000 taken out of the streets. I did that with my little office as a commissioner for land, as a chief of staff. So we are going to look at track record. I'm not telling people to vote me because I'm saying this, but go back to each one of us. Take each one of us, go to his history, check what he has done and what he is telling you that he's going to do. Mark good if he has done well. When he has not done well, mark bad. By the time you take one after the other, the result will come out clearly.
Okay, now finally, what special message do you have for the Imolites as the 2019 general elections draws closer? What special message do you want them to have from you as a governorship candidate of the Action Alliance?
To Imolites, my brothers and sisters down there watching, by February and March, we should be having our governorship and National Assembly election. What we should look out for is people's track record, what they have done before now, and what promises they have said they were going to give. Because what matters is the person you are going to vote. Can that person deliver all his promises? You don't vote for somebody because of a sentiment of I'm from here or I'm from the other side, or I promise that I'm going to tar the road, I'm going to give you AC, I'm going to... No. You vote for a person because of what the person has achieved before now. Because most politicians will come now, start sharing money, some will make promises that they can never fulfill. Again, as the election comes closer, we need a peaceful election, especially those you that are supporting different candidates. Whether you like it or not, we are from Imo State, and we cannot, because of election, we start fighting each other. Because after election, all of us will still come back together and shake hands. So my message to the youths are that we should look at this election as election between a brother and a brother, a sister and a sister, so that at the end of the day, the best will come out. And trusting God and the special grace of God, your vote for me as Mugba Uchenwosu will make a difference. Being a young man and being somebody that has future. What I ask is track record and what somebody has done. I have done well, and I need your vote. Thank you, and God bless all of us.
Uchenwosu, the governorship candidate of the Action Alliance in Imo State, we say a big thank you for finding our time to grace our studio today in Abuja.